You have been lied to since the day you were born. Society, modern media, and popular culture have meticulously conditioned you to believe that human attraction is a logical negotiation. You genuinely believe that if you say the right words, buy the correct gifts, showcase your resume, and perform the perfect sequence of actions, you will automatically earn desire and respect. That is a catastrophic biological illusion. The brutal truth of evolutionary psychology is that attraction is never a conscious choice. It is not a logical spreadsheet of pros and cons. It is an involuntary biological reflex. It does not respond to your outward performance. It responds exclusively to your internal architecture. Women do not feel deep primal attraction because of what you do. They feel it because of what you are. When you constantly try to prove your value through action, you are actively communicating to the female brain that you have incredibly low intrinsic worth. You are playing a losing game. In the next few minutes, we will completely dismantle the comforting myths you have been taught about human behavior. We will expose the exact evolutionary mechanics of desire, and we will reveal the 3 deep, unconscious psychological switches that actually trigger involuntary attraction. Write this down immediately. Neediness destroys leverage, and predictability destroys desire. By the end of this protocol, you will stop performing for validation, stop memorizing cheap manipulative tactics, and start positioning yourself with absolute psychological authority. Let us break the illusion and dissect the mechanism of human connection. First, we must understand the core foundation of human dynamics. Attraction happens entirely below the threshold of conscious awareness. It is a survival mechanism engineered over hundreds of thousands of years of human evolution. The female brain is biologically hardwired to constantly scan the environment for specific, subtle indicators of strength, stability, and competence. When you successfully project these indicators, you trigger the first psychological switch. We call this the magnetic pull. The magnetic pull has absolutely nothing to do with how much money is in your bank account, the car you drive, or the superficial symmetry of your face. It is entirely about your internal stability and your psychological calmness under extreme pressure. To understand this, imagine 2 different men entering the exact same room. The first man walks in and immediately begins scanning the faces of everyone around him. He talks slightly too fast. He eagerly tries to fill the silence because silence makes him incredibly anxious. He laughs at jokes that are not funny. He agrees with opinions he does not actually hold. He is entirely reactive to his environment. His nervous system is practically screaming for approval. The female brain registers this instantly as a massive biological red flag. In the ancestral environment, a man who could not control his own internal state, a man who panicked at the slightest social friction, was entirely incapable of protecting himself, let alone anyone else. Now observe the second man. He enters the room and does not immediately seek eye contact for validation. His movements are slow, deliberate, and calculated. He embraces silence. When pressure is applied, or when the conversation gets uncomfortable, his breathing remains completely steady. He radiates emotional groundedness. He does not need the environment to validate his existence because his reality is internally generated. This man creates a safe, magnetic atmosphere simply by existing. The female brain registers this as an indicator of absolute apex survival capability. The magnetic pull forces an involuntary response. It is a deep feeling of safety and calm that a woman senses when a man is emotionally steady. But this magnetic pull is incredibly fragile. Most men destroy it completely within the first 5 minutes of interaction through 3 specific behavioral fractures. The first fracture is approval hunger. The moment you alter your genuine opinion just to agree with a woman, or the moment you filter your personality to avoid offending her, you instantly kill the attraction. You show her that your reality is weak and easily compromised by the presence of a female. The second fracture is mental distraction. In the modern digital age, most men are completely incapable of maintaining sustained eye contact and physical presence. If you are physically in front of her but your mind is anxiously drifting, or you are constantly checking your phone, the magnetic pull collapses. You cannot generate a magnetic field if you are not fully plugged into the present moment. The third and most fatal fracture is the reactive collapse. This happens when a woman subconsciously tests you. She pulls away slightly, she challenges your logic, or she introduces a moment of emotional chaos. The weak man panics. He chases. He immediately tries to fix the situation through frantic logic and desperation. The grounded man does absolutely nothing. He observes the chaos, remains entirely unaffected, and calmly holds his frame. You must build your self-worth entirely outside of your relationships. If you want the magnetic pull, your relationship with yourself must be impenetrable. Once you master the magnetic pull and establish your grounded presence, you must activate the second unconscious trigger. We call this the beautiful ache. Modern society is completely addicted to instant gratification. You have been conditioned to believe that you must be hyper-available, completely transparent, and constantly present to show someone that you care. Evolutionarily speaking, this is a catastrophic error. Human biology is not designed to endlessly desire what it already fully possesses. The strongest human emotions are not felt in the moment of absolute fulfillment. They are felt in the agonizing moment of anticipation. You must understand the clinical reality of dopamine. Dopamine is not the chemical of pleasure, it is the chemical of pursuit. It spikes highest when a reward is unpredictable. When you reveal everything about yourself on the first day, when you reply to every single message within 3 seconds, and when you eagerly drop your personal ambitions to be constantly available for her, you completely murder the biological engine of desire. You leave absolutely zero room for her imagination to work. You eliminate the mystery, and without mystery, there is no tension. You must understand the dark psychology of absence. Desire thrives in the vacuum created by strategic distance. To activate the beautiful ache, you must introduce purposeful, genuine unavailability into your life. Now, listen very carefully. You cannot fake this. If you are simply playing a manipulative, childish game of ignoring your phone while sitting on your couch playing video games, your micro-behaviors will eventually expose your desperation. Women are incredibly highly calibrated to detect inauthentic scarcity. The beautiful ache must come from an authentically full life. You must genuinely prioritize your mission, your business, your physical training, and your personal growth above all else. When you are truly busy building an empire, your absence is not a manipulative tactic, it is a reality. Your absence becomes a psychological weapon that forces her to wonder about you. You reveal your past and your thoughts slowly, layer by layer, over months, not hours. You end conversations gracefully when they are at their absolute peak, leaving her craving more. You engineer a dynamic where your presence is a highly valued reward, not a guaranteed baseline. This tension between your powerful, grounded presence when you are together, and your unapologetic absence when you are apart, creates a longing that no amount of superficial romance can ever replicate. But this brings us to the final, most complex, and most difficult phase of human mating dynamics. The third unconscious trigger. The silent war. The dynamic of attraction is fundamentally a continuous test of boundaries and psychological endurance. Evolution demands that a woman continuously test the structural integrity of the man she is with. She needs to know, on a deep subconscious biological level, if the man leading her is actually strong enough to withstand the brutality of the world. She will test your frame. She will push your boundaries. She will introduce friction to see if you crumble under the weight of her emotions. Most men fail to understand the purpose of these tests. They perceive them as personal attacks. They get angry. They become emotional. They enter into loud, reactive arguments, or worse, they immediately surrender and apologize just to keep the peace. The moment you raise your voice, lose your emotional center, or abandon your standards just to appease her, you have lost the silent war. You have proven that her emotions can easily dictate your reality. The elite operator understands that these tests are actually biological requests for leadership. When the storm hits, you must become the anchor. You maintain absolute emotional detachment. The silent war is about earning her loyalty by making her feel she has truly won your attention through genuine effort and respect for your boundaries. It represents having personal standards and self-respect. You do not argue logic with an emotional storm. You look at her with calm, steady eyes, you state your truth, and you simply refuse to be moved. You demand a balanced investment. You require her to earn your time. When she realizes that her chaos cannot break your calm, her biological anxiety dissolves. The silent war ends and deep, unshakable respect is born. Attraction without respect is fleeting. Loyalty arises only when attention is earned through balanced effort and unyielding personal standards. To fully grasp this, let us observe a practical demonstration. Imagine two versions of a first encounter. In the first version, the man is overeager. He overshares his life story within the first hour. He agrees with everything she says. He leans in constantly, seeking her approval. He has no boundaries. By the end of the date, he has destroyed the magnetic pull through desperation, he has killed the beautiful ache by being completely predictable, and he has forfeited the silent war by having no standards. The attraction is dead before it even began. Now consider the elite operator. He embodies a calm presence. He leans back. He speaks slowly. He creates mystery by answering questions thoughtfully but leaving some things unsaid. When she challenges an opinion, he holds his ground confidently with a slight smirk. He ends the date when it is going perfectly, asserting his time is valuable. He has activated all three switches simultaneously. He has triggered involuntary, irresistible attraction. You must stop trying to memorize manipulative lines. You cannot fake these switches because they reflect deep qualities of self. If you try to fake them, you will inevitably be exposed when real pressure is applied. Attraction is simply a byproduct of becoming a complete man who wants himself first. It is the result of authentic self-mastery. You must kill the nice guy identity that desperately seeks validation. You must ground yourself physically and psychologically. Fill your life with meaningful commitments. Cultivate silence. True wealth, true power, and true attraction are all built on the exact same psychological foundation. Emotional discipline, strategic restraint, and absolute internal sovereignty. Inventory your behaviors today. Are you a mountain, or are you a leaf in the wind? Do you control your reactions, or does your environment control you? Stop performing. Start positioning. If you want to understand the exact cognitive frameworks that separate the elite operators from the invisible masses, subscribe to the channel. Build the foundation. Master the game. See you in the next protocol.